For our next example, I'm going to try to improve upon a little bit of what we had in the in class in the lecture notes about our animal class. So if you recall, in here we defined a shelter animal as a base level class that inherits from object. And it probably makes more sense to first define an animal class and then inherit from that into a shelter animal class, because we can think of all sorts of other uses of an animal. So let me just copy this. Paste this in here. And then we're going to separate things out. So I'll just insert another cell, and that will let me more freely cut away. So I'm going to define a class animal, and it will inherit from object. And for this one, I don't need to have a name, ID altered, but we would want to still keep the sex of the animal, and just to have.
Hello.
Andy. I'm not going to start recording because my wife was restart because my wife was so obnoxious. So we have animal. We're going to keep an age and keep the sex of the animal. But just to kind of change things up a little bit, show that we can use required positional arguments, I'm going to make species a positional argument. And then this will create an instance of an animal. I'm saying the age is in months. Okay, sex female. Okay. All right, so our attributes are going to be species, age, and sex. Okay, so let's delete all of this. And we can have this set name, get name pairs. And I can do the same thing here with species and sex. And so that's get name, set name, species, and let's leave that as is for now. So, and then we're going to delete all of this other stuff, which is specific to a shelter animal. Okay, so let's make sure this works. Let's define an animal. Animal 1 is going to be an animal. And it have a required positional argument of species. So we'll call it a dog. We'll say it's 1 month old and that it's a male. And then if we print animal 1, doesn't tell us too much, but we do have an animal object created. And okay, so now let's go to shelter animal. So now the shelter animal, we're going to have it inherit from animal. And let's change this so that species, again, is positional. And now, okay, we have a species. We're going to take care of these in the animal class. And so we're going to get that by calling the super function, which will take as its arguments the current class and self, and it's going to call init, and we will pass to it the species, And then we're going to have, age equals age, and sex equals sex. And then we can assign name ID, etc., from this. And we don't need to have the get name set name because they're all going to be defined in the parent method. And we can keep the add problem, etc. So okay, now let's try creating a shelter animal, which we can call Argos. And he's going to be a shelter animal. And that's going to take as a positional argument species dog, then age in months be 3, sex male, and I can look at, okay, I have these other options. So name will be Argos. Let's fix that. And I'll give it an ID. Oops. Now if I look at Argos, I can see it has these attributes. It also has get species as a method that it inherited from animal. And it also has a set method, so I can set name to be Randy. Now if I do argos.name, be Randy.